Rightio, over the ditch. I might as well call it take two for this week, but Lucky Whittaker is back on a Tuesday. Hello, mate.
Hey, Paul, how are we going?
Very good. Huge congratulations. Got to give you a big rap for a start. We just had Mum off camera there before, but congratulations. Getting the chocolates the other night on Zoltan Boscik. Is that how I say? Did I say his name right? Zoltan Boscik?
Yeah.
Anyone wondering, he's a wrestler. Is that not right? And Mum and Dad had a great association with him or a friendship with him?
Yeah, he's actually named after my godfather, who was a Hungarian wrestler. So his partner, Sue Zabo, she still owns a share in him too. So he passed away about 8 or 9 years ago. So that's where the Zoltan Boscik name come from.
And he owned a restaurant or something? Is that... I can vaguely remember I did an interview with Dad a couple of years ago about him, and yeah, I vaguely remember something along those lines as well.
Yeah, he owned a couple of pubs in Christchurch, and yeah, a lot of harness racing people used to go there, and so it was a very good win anyway.
Yeah, it was. Actually going to put it on, Lukey. I'm just curious on your thoughts with the race. I'll actually put it on right about now because it just hit her in the back straight. It looked like you went out with a dedicated plan, if that's the right way to put it. I don't think we ever planned too many things in trotting, but to look after him early, and I was the main thing to just have him finishing off. Was that your main priority this week?
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Like he was 5 weeks in between runs, and I'd had an awful problem trying to get him trotting good, because he's always been a very, very good trotter, and the way he goes. But his last couple of starts, he hadn't been that good, and I was pulling my hair out to be honest with you. And I'd been really struggling because we hadn't really changed anything. And in the last start in the uncut gents, he probably should have galloped. He shouldn't have trotted at all, and it probably didn't look that good on that he ran 8th, but it was better than what it looked. So yeah, I finally got him back trotting as good as what he can, and his work at Overport Lodge, which was Mark Jones with the present maker last Saturday, was tremendous and probably the best he's ever worked. And I went into the race very confident, but like when you're off 20 metres, given and you got to get around another 14 horses, it's very difficult. So without being, saying he was a good bet, it was always going to be hard. But I knew his talents, and from the way he'd been trotting, I thought, he's a horse that can really find the line late.
It's easy to give people raps, especially when you win. But this was a part, and I'm a bit critical sometimes of drone footage, but this just right here, Lukey, Ben Hopes, he was in the 2 wide line. He gets bumped 3 wide. You just pull out there, and then you saw Ben's going nowhere, and you go back. Quite often at Addington, one of the big things, if I had a knock, quite often, a lot of the times, horses get 4 and 5 deep, and they just lose their way. And you just had to be patient. Like you're looking after a horse, you weren't 100% sure where he was, and you just had to be patient and wait for Ben's horse to sort of get past you as it was stopping in front. You then had a galloper in front. That's where I can say it was a very good drive, because you clearly were going to go 3 deep, and then you're like, well, that's going to be silly because I'm going to have to go 4 deep, and waited, and then backed his speed to get over the top of them. And this part here, I think anyone that loves harness racing loves horses with speed, and this is ridiculous here. You could sit down and just enjoy the photo right about now with 100 to go. It was just terrific. But that part down the back straight, I think, was the winning move, if you like, and that was actually patience. And probably one thing, Lukey, we as young drivers we all struggle with. So yeah, I think it was a huge feather in your cap, that one move down the back straight.
Yeah, I just sort of thought when sort of Ben was going backwards, and as I sort of went to go to get on Paul's back, Ben got pushed 3, and then Paul got pushed 4 wide. So I thought, I'm going to have to take off 4 and 5 wide too. And like, you can't be doing that at Addington, especially when you're a long way back. And I thought, well, if I'm patient enough and I can sort of get, past Ben and then sort of angle straight out as soon as he's gone, I'm still a big hope. But I sort of got to the 450 and thought, I can't win here. Like I'm miles off them. Like, I can't win at all. And then I sort of got to the straight, and I was like, how far am I going to win by here? It was real funny when I was thinking to myself, because I was like, one stage I was like, I can't win. And then I got to the straight, and I was like, he'll run away and win for fun here.
Yeah, and he did run away and win for fun. And it was a nice field of trotters too. Horses like Tuatungata, sorry. And they're nice horses. They're up and coming horses. But he races this week. Do you have any goals in mind with him, Lukey, towards the end of the season, or is it just see where he ends up at the minute?
I think I see where he ends up, but I've always said to Dad I'd like to put him in the Dominion and sort of those big races because I think they'll really toughen him up as a horse. And I've always said it from day one. He's a horse better when they run along, like a genuine tempo. And they did on Friday night. Like they run every quarter in 30 and 30 and 30 and a half. Like I've always said he's so quick. The quicker they go, the better he'll get over the top. Like even some of those races where they've got him in 57 and 26 and he's made ground, I've always said he's one of those horses that genuine tempo, I think he'll be better. So, yeah, I think, in another 6 months' time and getting to race those good horses, it'll toughen him up because he's such a genuine and well-mannered horse and he tries so hard. You can hand to the right one and he's going to be there every day. So, yeah, I think if he can get up against those good horses and, get a few races under his belt, he can be competitive in those races.
Yep, absolutely. Just touch whatever you touch. We don't know what it is. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. Lukey does interviews with everyone else and it doesn't do it. It just comes in every now and then. There was one race I really wanted to highlight today, but we're actually going to go because I love Benny Hope. I have a lot of time for him and it was almost a matter of the very next race, if you like, as I say, horses don't go 4 and 5 deep very often and are able to win. This has been, for anyone wondering, back here, third last. Zarlini, this was some sort of win in a good field of horses, competitive field of horses. This was some sort of win, Lukey, because they don't do this very often at Addington.
No, they don't. And the horse is probably just getting better and better. And its confidence, its last few starts, it's just taken it to its next level. And they did run hard early during the middle stages of the race, which really helps that horse because it is so quick. And, once he sort of got 3 and 4 wide, it was still a sustained run and had to be very good to win. So, like I said, I think its confidence is just full and, yeah, it was hitting the line strong still.
Yeah, no, it was indeed. And I don't think Ben necessarily wanted to get to the front when he did. If you actually watch beauty of having light blue colour arms, you can see he's sitting against the horse. The horse just towed him into it. And then it is a long straight, but he did a great job to fight on. And, a lot of credit to him. And, I think it was terrific. Another terrific drive, albeit, 2 minutes earlier, I'm talking to you and saying they're not normally able to do that. But, yeah, he just towed him into that race and was very, very impressive in what was a nice race. Mate, I want to go to, we didn't do much of a green room here at all. We didn't do a lot of pre-starting. I want to start at the end, if that's okay,
Yep,
and the second last race, because this is a horse the industry needs to celebrate in marketplace. He is something special. It's Craig Ferguson's birthday today too, so happy birthday to Ferg. But this horse is something special. But this drive as well was something, just an absolute peach of a guy in absolute confidence. This is him, 5 on the second line. This is his main danger. I got the chocolates, and within 100 metres, he's in front of him. Just a great drive, wasn't it, Lukey?
Yeah, it was for sure. And, it just shows the form that he put into the race and knowing that the horse that he was following out showed good gate speed to get across and he could just follow through. And obviously his main danger was drawing one outside that horse. So he knew if he could get in front of him, it was going to be very hard to got the chocolates to beat him anyway.
Yeah, it was indeed. After here, anyone that hasn't watched it, keep telling people, go to Harness Racing New Zealand to watch the replays, because it was a pretty pedestrian race. This is the last 400 metres, and got the chocolates, got close, and taken nothing at all away from him. I suggest Marketplace probably getting a little bit tired as well, but the pair of them are still going terrific. The third horse, Better Anvil's a lovely horse, and they run away from him, but probably a long prep for both these two horses, but they still fought it out terrific. It was a great little fight to the finish, and he goes now for a well-deserved break. But he's something special, this horse, Lukey. Not very often you get horses that can work the gate as hard as what he did even 12 months ago, with that 2-year-old where I think he ran a 26 first quarter and still able to hold him off. And we saw what he did getting beat at Alexandra Park earlier on in this prep, come from a long way back off him and have no right to get that close to horses, and he's still cheeky enough to do it. He is a very, very exciting horse for the industry.
He is, and we need horses like this because it just creates great atmosphere at the races, and people go to watch good horses, and he is one of them. And like I sort of thought, drawing 13 this week, if he was going to get beat again, it was from the draw. We know how good a horse he is, but yeah, the drive was a 11 out of 10, and it just shows when he does form and plans they go to plan. It's great to see horses like that running around.
No, absolutely, and he's just a phenomenal little horse, and great for the industry. I think we all need to celebrate him. He is actually an NZB graduate. I've actually got the wrong hat on for a start. We'll go with this hat here. I'll put it on because they've actually got their weanling sales are out now, June 26th. Make sure you go to nzbstandardbred.co.nz to view the full 82 horses in that sale. So, and it is important. He's not a sales graduate, but there was a couple in that were sale graduates. We had a graduate win earlier on in the night. We'll touch on him in a minute, but very, very important. But he did sell through the NZB sales, but been some ridiculous offers. I've heard of ridiculous offers being offered for this horse, and they're knocking on back, which is so good for New Zealand harness racing. The upside of you guys having so much stake money, he's not coming to Australia. It'd just be nice, him and Always Hot go head to head in a couple of those races. You might have a better chance of getting Always Hot to go to New Zealand now, which is funny in itself. But just a super exciting horse, and we need more clashes like this. Got the Chocolates is doing a great job. But yeah, he's just something special, this horse. He's up there with Leap to Fame as that 2 and 3 year old, and the excitement, and you've seen what he's able to build for people, and this horse I think is a similar horse to that.
Yeah, he is for sure. And yeah, it's a little bit disappointing that for me, they're such good horses, but to me the programming is ridiculous. Like, they've had to fly to Auckland and then fly back down, especially being young horses. I know they can do it, but to me it just doesn't make sense. And it's one way to ruin horses, really. Like, even in the 2-year-old trot, like they are up there, they've raced a couple, and then they're coming back down and they're a week later. Why not make it that they're all in Auckland for a month and then have a week off or 2 weeks off and then they're back at Addington? To me, the programming just is ridiculous, and yeah, I don't really understand it, to be honest.
We'll touch on that because I 100% agree with you, and it was one of the winners earlier on in the night. Just trying to find what race she was. Race number 6, and we talk of Duchess Maria. Now, this horse has had 3 starts. I'll get it up officially before we go to the race. So she raced on the 27th of April, raced fortnight later on the 10th of May, and then a week later. So in the space of 3 weeks, or 4 weeks all up, I suppose. No, 3 weeks. It is 3 weeks. She's raced in 3 races. That's okay in itself. 1 down the bottom of the South Island, 1 in the North Island, 1 back in the middle of the South Island. But each of those races are 50,000. You can't say no to Nathan Williamson and the Prices and everyone for going for it. They're mad not going for it. They have to go for these races because the prize money's there. I'm a bit like you, though. Who's doing the programming? Why are we having 3 $50,000 races in the space of 3 weeks, 3 different parts of the island on a shortened pool of horses, a very shortened pool of horses, 2-year-old trotters, for goodness sakes. It just does seem silly, that part.
Yeah, and like I've said it to a lot of people, like, we want all these horses racing and we want deep fields, and yeah, I just struggle to wrap my head around it, really, in the sense that, why can't they be in Auckland 1 week for a month and then they have a week or 10 days off and then they can come back down to Addington? Yeah, like I said, I just don't really understand it, to be honest.
And don't forget our friends down south. They're entitled to have those horses, and we'll touch on those guys. They've got other issues as well down there as well, and we'll touch on that in a minute as well, which is possibly a little bit out of the programming. It's a bit more terms and conditions, I think, nowadays. But this filly, Duchess Maria, Lukey, she's a beautiful filly by Muscle Hill, as I said, bred by the Prices. And the flip side of all that is good luck to these guys. They've been able to win 3 races valued at around that 50,000. They're not quite each of those. Anyone wants to correct me, that's fine. But she doesn't have the greatest gait to look at, Luke. I suppose she throws her legs a little bit funny, but talking to Nathan last week, he said she just trots beautifully to drive her. You don't think about it. She doesn't touch anywhere, and the rest. And she's brave. She's game. As I said, 3rd run in 3 weeks on in a different part of the country. She's just a little revelation, this filly, that's for sure.
For sure, and she's obviously a little professional too. Just the way she's been racing, and even if first started in Invercargill, she showed that high speed. And last week she took a sit at Auckland and beat Red Park Warrior, and then this week she led up. So she's a horse that's got the all-round game, and obviously her manners and travelling doesn't worry her, especially for a young horse. Like you said, she's racing in Invercargill, Auckland, now Christchurch in 3 weeks, and 2-year-old trotter. It obviously doesn't bother her.
Professional horseman Nathan Williamson. She was 3 back the fence, I think, from memory at Invercargill, but the deaf 1-1 went past her. So, and then he's had to pull a 3 and 4 deep to go get over the top of those horses, maybe caught him by surprise. Then works out of the gate, posies up behind the leader and its main danger and the young guns. Then this week takes the confidence to lead on it, like, well-educated horse. And another horse, going to be a nice future for that horse, probably towards the end of this season, but definitely next year with the Oaks, slot races and things like that. She's going to be a horse on a lot of people's radars, that's for sure.
Yeah, she is for sure.
Right, we're going all over the shot here. I just want to make sure we don't miss too many races. Mark, which way we're going to go? We're just going to pretty much do the rest of the feature races. Mark Hurrell and Greg Hunter, person I don't know a lot about, got the chockies with Beach Day Lukey as I try to get this up and going. Good thrill for the Southern Islanders, I suppose. What do you call them, the Southlanders?
Yeah, yes, Southland, yeah. And Invercargill, down that way, whatever.
Yeah. Do you know much about Greg?
No, I don't. But this horse, she's been flying, and I thought her last run at Addington was super in a very strong race, and I thought this was sort of her race to win, and she had to be good because she was 3 fence, and she's following a couple of nice horses too. So yeah, great for the old Deep South to pick up another win on one of those big nights.
Well, this was the start of it, wasn't it? I think I was, Chelsea Faithful on one of my shows last night told me there was 8 runners for the weekend down south, seven in the top 4, including I think 3 winners. So that's just enormous in itself.
It is, and it's great for the game, to have those horses and travelling up here and being very competitive too. So yeah, it's a
very brave that filly, wasn't she? Just then, like she just poked through at the right time.
Yeah, she was very brave, and like I said, her run last week was sensational. And yeah, she had to go past a pretty nice one in Seaside Rose. So coming from behind her and showing that speed was very good.
We did Duchess Maria, 2-year-old bracelet. This was a 1-2-3 for them, and we will congratulate Maddie Williamson, who's since trained 100 winners. That's one of the ones that Lukey was going to bring up, but I think congratulations to that. But this horse was terrific, winning for Brett Gray, beating the first starter, Captain, Treacherous Me, for Nathan Williamson, and then the American Ideal filly for Chelsea. It was a good little race for the 2-year-old fillies, and the Southerners came out on top. Yeah,
that's right, and it sort of shows that the horses that led and trailed, they'd been doing a lot of racing, and like we said, they'd travelled to Auckland and then back down. And these other 3, they were sort of coming in fresh. So yeah, I thought the winner was massive, and I really liked the 3rd horse. I thought it was very game and probably should have run second. Obviously, got a little bit of a check here, but still fought on gamely. And I've been watching her runs really good, and Chelsea's been doing a very good job with her horses, and especially this one. So. She looks like she's only a little filly, but she's very gutsy too. Yeah, she's a Weanling sale graduate as well. I think $2,000 she was from the Weanling sale. So, been a terrific purchase for connections. And Carter was probably a little bit rough on her just then when coming off the fence, but didn't shirk the issue. And one of those horses, Lukey, I love, head down, bum up. Like that's the way she looks anyway. And she just has a red hot go. But Brett Gray done a great job with this winner. The horse of Nathan Williamson's having its first start as well. Terrific, but hats off to the winner. Very, very professional horse, did the job beautifully. And I heard Matty say afterwards that he didn't really want to be in the deaf, but the horse just did it so comfortably it didn't worry him in the end. So I think that's a great little bit of feedback. But just wonder, Lukey, there's a new thing now where the 2-year-olds aren't allowed to race the older horses and the maidens and things like that. And talking to Nathan, he had to take Treacherous Me there simply because there was no races. The races weren't standing up down south. So possibly something that they need to look at. Maybe if there's a race on the program and it doesn't stand up, the 2-year-olds can go against the older horses. I don't know. Something simple like that to give these horses opportunity. It's worked out for Nathan on this occasion, but you and I both know sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. No, it doesn't. And it's always going to be hard when those 2-year-olds are sort of racing everywhere and anywhere, and it's hard to sort of get big fields when they're so young. And to me, they should be allowed to race in maiden fields because then you can drive them with a sit and they actually learn a little bit against the older horses. And, hey, everyone's still a maiden, so it's not like they're racing out of grade. But to me, it actually toughens them up a little bit because they're racing horses. They're a little bit older, and you can drive them any way you like. So yeah, they do it in Aussie too. Like they let them race out of grade or whatever, especially when there's no 2-year-old races. So yeah, I think it's a little bit silly in that right too.
And the one thing I will say too, the betting, we need people betting. Unpredictability in betting is actually sometimes one of the great things. And if they have exposed form against older horses, but not their own age limit, puts that intrigue there. If they're able to beat the older horses, are they good enough to beat the 2-year-olds? Flip vice versa. If they get beat by the older horses, how good were the older horses? It just adds that little bit of intrigue that probably wouldn't hurt the industry either.
Yeah, it would. And like obviously, if there's a 5 or 6 horse field, there's no one wants to have a bet in them. So yeah, to me, it's there's a few ththings in the programming that really need to be sorted out. To be honest.
We're not endearing ourselves to hardest race in New Zealand today, but that's okay. We can live with that. It's there's plenty of good things happening out in New Zealand too. We're not here just to bag them and doing some good jobs. This actually was a good race. Hats off to everyone with the win here of Sideshow Bruce. But just the field itself, Lukey, this was a great field. Leader behind leader, first, second, and then we have back here with Wagstar runs third, and then the horse last. He was one of the runs of the race. Da Vinci just got left when Wagstar took off, but geez, he takes some ground off him up the straight. But hats off to the winner. I think he was awesome. But geez, there's a couple of nice runs behind them as well.
Yeah, there was for sure, and like you alluded to, what a field it was too. Like there could be a lot of these horses actually racing on Cup Day in the junior free-for-all. And, they sort of struggle to have, 7 or 8 horses in those fields. So a lot of these horses will probably take that step up into that junior free-for-all race. And I think the winner's a very good horse. He's, Bob's alluded to still how green he is and the times he's running. I think he'll be a cup class horse in the making.
Yep. He looks a beautiful horse. The close-ups I had of him on picture, he dead set looks a really, really nice horse. I must say, a stable that's in absolute flying form. I just saw this run here. Horse here, 5 the Fence, Robbie Close, Regan Todd. I don't know its actual name. Just it gets home terrific as well. I mean, it gets balked for a run for a few times and doesn't quite get out at the right time. But a couple of little eye catches out the back. But Wagstar, of course, the widest runner as well. So, Da Vinci, the widest horse there. But yeah, you watch that horse of Regan's and Robbie drive, and there just finds a line terrific as well, getting over one of the done runners. So yeah, good field, a lot of form to take out of that race. And but yeah, hats off to the winner. And I do think they do have a few big options with that horse, or ideas anyway. And I think you're right about the country cups and those sort of style races and where he ends up from there. But looks an imposing horse. I don't know what he's like in person, but geez, just to look at him on TV, he looks great.
Yeah, he does. Like I went down and gave Bob a bit of a hand to ungear him, and he's such a big horse, and he looks like he's still got a little bit of filling out to do. But yeah, he was. Bob alluded to 2 starts ago, he sort of had the block blinds on, and he sort of just had to steer him off another horse, and he, just that greenness, and he galloped. But yeah, it showed last week that he's a very good horse, and
he was still a bit funny going into that first turn. He looked like to me he put a couple of long strides in, but I did notice he had hobble shorteners on, so maybe Bobby's still just trying to refine everything, but he did look to put a couple of awkward ones in going in that turn.
Yeah, he did. And they went pretty hard into that first bend too. And, he's obviously a horse that probably hasn't been sped out like that, racing on the grass and that too. So I think Bob just sort of, let those outside ones dictate and come across, and then sort of went from there. So yeah, he's an exciting horse.
One of the good wins of the night, they're all good wins, shouldn't say that in any disrespect at all, but was the win of Euro Style for the Butts and Joneses, historical name in harness racing, so I think it was terrific, but this was a great win by Euro Style. She's a lovely mare, this mare. Got a really nice record, hasn't she, Neil?
She does, and off 30 metres, you never say never, but I thought it was going to be very hard for her to win off the 30, and Jesus, what a win it was, though.
That's her 3. She's the first horse 3 deep. Just touch your microphone, Lukey, for me. She's a horse 3 deep there, leading the 3 wide train up. The stablemate's in the death, but hopefully you're back there now, Lukey.
Yeah, that's right. And, like we said, she's come off 30 metres and she's been 3 wide from the 600 metres. I had a look at her time, after Friday night, and I think she went 1:56 for the mile and still got home in 57 and 27. So for a trotter, that's, a big effort. And the second horse that's flying to the present maker. He's up in grade, and he's a horse that's come a long way, and he's got a lot of ability, and running second to a horse like that, Jack and Anne-Marie, they would have been stoked.
Yep. Derek and Adele, they don't train a lot. The other horse was okay as well. I think they only have about 3 or 4 horses in work as well. So it was good, but yeah, small team. But you're going to have a lot of fun with this horse, and I've happy to say I've got a good friendship with Kimmy, and it was it's good to see. I actually noticed she put a social media post up during the week, and she driving a horse, and she had an American flag with her, and I'm thinking she gone away on holidays, but it was actually American Me was the horse. But she said to me, it's funny, everyone's thought the same thing when she's turned around and put that post up. It's been one of those funny ones. Lukey, Breckon Farms have got 7 mares on the Gavel House auction at the minute online. Linda Lovegrace, Call Me Baby, Alana Hall, Online Love, Dead Cat Bounce, and Ruby Rose and Lydia's Delight. Some beautiful mares. 2 in foal to Sweet Lou, 1 in foal to Tactical Approach. You've got a Love You horse there as well. You've got good mares that have been leaving good winners as well. So make sure you go to gavelhouse.com. I can actually do that right now. It's gavelhouse.com, but if you hit the Standardbred section, it's a little bit quicker. Didn't quite have everything ready to go, Lukey, which is unlike me. Give me 1 second. But, make sure you go there. There's plenty of horses on there, but Breckon Farms, great supporters of Campbell's comments. They have theirs on there. Now, all of these horses, all except for Linda Lovegrace, are officially on the market. They're an unreserved sale. You can see there, but Linda Lovegrace is not quite on the market yet, but keep bidding and you never know, you'll be able to get there. But Alana Hall, Call Me Baby, Dead Cat Bounce, Lydia's Delight, and Online Love have all had their reserves met. Ruby Rose hasn't had a bid yet, but $500 and you'll get there. So a unique opportunity to get some lovely mares, but great little platform, Gavel House. You guys use it a lot over there, don't you?
Yeah, we do, and it's love buying one off there, and everyone they do it in Aussie with the trading ring and that. So yeah, it's great to have a site like that where people can put up horses and someone else can try and make some money out of one. The
trading ring's actually changed a wee bit. It's privately owned now. It used to be, everyone used to go to it religiously, but it's actually changed a little bit since about a year or 2 ago, since Rise stepped away from it. So it has changed a bit, but it does still work, but yeah, not quite the same. They actually got hacked the other day too. So anyone was wondering last week where all the fields were, there was a hack, unfortunately, for the industry. So held everyone at ransom. It was actually ransomware that got them too. So yeah. Lukey, I have to change one more hat before I get to anything else you've got to do, but this is the Aldebaran Park hat. I don't know if you saw Gatesy's Gem won the Derby on Saturday night at Menangle and becoming, well, the 3rd mare in a row, if you like, to win the Oaks Derby, New South Wales Oaks and Derby, both races, which is pretty unique in itself. Rocking with Attitude, Kiang Sahara, and now Gatesy's Gem, and she's a ripper, Gatesy's Gem. She's still got another year of development in her as well, like she's all legs. But a little side note, and there's some pretty smart breeders in New Zealand. Aldebaran Eagle has sired Rockin' with Attitude. Didn't Kiang Sahara, don't worry about that. But then go to Gatesy's Gem. I don't know too many stay-in sires, trotting or pacing, that have been able to do that, within the space of 3 years. It's actually a phenomenal little effort. And for you guys in New Zealand, it's a unique opportunity because he's not allowed to stand here in Australia because unfortunately he passed away, but New Zealand's rules are different, and his semen is still available. So next year, so make sure you get in touch with the team at Aldebaran Park. But it's a cool little stat, isn't it? That two horses off very low breeding numbers as well.
Yeah, you've really produced one there, Paul.
Well, Duncan gave it to me, and I actually had a first starter yesterday at Globe Derby. Get the chockies as well, so don't worry. There's plenty of them there. But yeah, get in touch with Duncan and the crew at Aldebaran Park, or Andrew Stewart, and he'll be able to hook you up as well. So frozen semen available in New Zealand, not very expensive. I'm not going to say the price because I don't have the banner in front of me, which I should do, but I don't have it, and I might be able to produce it there. What other little chest? Oh yeah, I do have it. Look at this. Here it's going to come up right now. Bang! There it is. There. Service fee 3,450. Obviously frozen only and available in New Zealand. And there'll be some graphic updates to that catalogue. I've got no doubt about that, with Rockin' With Attitude in the picture, but Gatesy's Gem will get in there as well at some stage. What else did you have, Licky?
Just a 2-year-old Colts and Gelding, Fugitive. He was very good again, and another horse that's had to travel down from Auckland and keeps on winning. So.
Yep, and he also was a Weanling Sale graduate. So they've got a nice team, Chrissy and Cran. I think they're over at the Elite Lot, I believe, enjoying a little bit of Scandinavian weather. You could picture Cran doing a bit of the in the saunas and that with the with the Scandinavians and enjoying it. But I do believe they're going to be over there for it, which is terrific to watch the locomotive. So that part's good in itself. But yeah, this horse was a pretty cheap purchase at the Weanling sales as well. I think it was, I had it last week in my notes.
I think it was 21,000 or something they were talking.
Yep, 21,000 he was purchased for. Before this start, he'd won 86. So well and truly recouped that value, and continues this magic ride of Down by the Seaside too. They are dead set flying everywhere. Mares were always his forte. This year, the Geldings and the Colts, and especially the 2-year-olds in New Zealand. Like, you got horses like this bloke, Jamal, the second horse there, they're everywhere. The 2-year-old Down by the Seasides, aren't they?
Yeah, they will, and it's it'll be a great race on Friday with the Avon City young guns. So, welcome stakes it is. So Group 1 level. So it's going to be exciting.
Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm getting to it right now. Which race was? Oh, yep, that one in there. It must be. Yep, it definitely is. I'll whack this on now so they don't look as silly. But a good little field there. Always a little bit of intrigue as well. So Rikiro Maximus, that's the other Down by the Seaside. I knew there was another one. He actually won the other day. Buster Douglas, he's knocking on the door to win a race as well. That is a good field, isn't it?
Yeah, it's All-American level was very good. Nearly beat Fugitive last start. So, yeah, reversal of the draws. And, yeah, it's going to be very good, especially for a Group 1 race.
Yep. Keep going here with the country championships. This field, I saw this last night on Loose Lines. What I've got to do is actually hit this button to be able to get the whole field in this. There will be 16 runners going around. There's only the one emergency being American Me. It's a magic field of horses. And with, they're only off 10 metres, but all these horses in front of, the likes of Pink Seekers, Wagstar, Piccadilly Princess, the Surfer. There's a horse that's flying as well for Anna Donnelly. But they've got so many horses in front of them. This could go anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. It's a great field, isn't it? And, they put the money up for these Country Cups horses. So, yeah, it's a very good race. And, 16 horses. It's going to be exciting. And here's Herbie work around here on Saturday, and his work was outstanding too. So the way he worked, he'll give them a fright too.
Yep, Commander Ben, horses like that. I know their form doesn't look anything special, but they're tried and true at these distances. Standing starts don't worry them either. So that adds a fair bit more intrigue. You just have to touch your button too, your little thing as well, because unfortunately we had the glitch in there. And then Harassed Trotters, who are selling 7 horses in this year's Weanling sales. There'll be more to come out with that very, very shortly. But they're sponsoring what is this race? Just a Heather Williams Memorial. Sorry, I shouldn't say just at all, but sees the return of Empire City, which is going to be great for the game. And I would imagine she'll have a pretty slow build-up right through the winter months, looking towards the end of the year.
Yeah, she was. She was a very good horse last year, and hopefully she comes back this year and does a very, very good job again. And Eurostar is going to be very hard to beat from the outside gate, the way she was last week. So Hidden Talent's a very good horse in her own right too. And yeah, it's it's great for Harness Racing New Zealand to actually put these fillies and mares races up. So yeah, big congrats to them.
Yep, Hidden Talent's got, as you said, Walking on Sunshine. She's a little horse. I don't know exactly where she's at Walking on Sunshine, but she showed so much. She won an Oaks. I know she won the Northern Oaks. They're going back 2 years ago, I think it was, but just a little bit lost in the wilderness. But hopefully Tommy can get him back going. He's got a nice team around him at the minute, Tommy.
Yeah, he has. He's got a very good team and a lot of nice young horses too. So yeah, and they're doing very good jobs.
Yep, very good. All right. Anything else on that card you wanted to highlight?
Throwing
him under the bus. He's got
probably the Group 3 fillies. Oh no, that was that one. No, that's it from there. Really.
That's it. All right. Very, very good. What race are you in?
Race 4.
Race 4. Can you win?
yeah, I think he can win again.
Good field. Nice little field, though, isn't it? It's won't be easy for you with Father Time drawing the pole. I actually had the wrong horse the other day, but a fine Patrick as well. So, yeah, nice little field of horses there.
Yeah, Gold Bully, and he tried up really good the other day, and I think I beat him once. So we'll see. Yeah, he's fresh up. But, yeah, it's a lot of these horses, they're sort of on the rise too. And, yeah, they can sort of, towards the end of the year, they can sort of step up into those 3-4 races too.
It's really cool. One thing about, probably don't say enough about with New Zealand, just the trainers that have got these nice horses. Massive changing of the guard, hasn't there been, really, when you look at it, the likes, we don't have a Purdon runner. And I don't mean that in any disrespect. I think I saw Nathan and Mark's post the other day. They only had the one runner last week. The names have definitely changed, and there's these young people coming through, and some older people coming through as well that are still having a good run. It's an amazing spread of talent, if you like, right across the board. Trainers and drivers, the whole box and dice, and all different age groups. They're not young, they're not old. They are, but if you know what I mean, it's not just one group of people coming through.
Yeah, that's right. And, when everyone's sort of got nice horses, it makes it a lot easier to get out of bed in the morning. So, with, a few trainers having, some very nice horses, and, Marketplace is obviously one of them. Yeah, it's great to see, not just one stable have very good horses. So, it's great for everyone.
The likes of Hayden Cullen and those guys as well. We forgot about those. Interesting little thing Brittany gave me last night on Loose Lines. The fact that the Eureka over here is, of course, for Australian horses. That's what it's designed for. And I don't know whether she's been a bit cheeky. Well, I'm pretty confident she has been a bit cheeky, but it hasn't been officially. But there could actually be a Kiwi horse in it this year. And we nearly need to start a little bit of a campaign, because I'm sure that's going to rile a few people. But if we walk by Faith, who is Australian bred, so he's actually eligible for it, but has done all of his racing, or predominantly all of his racing, in New Zealand, he actually could be partaking in it. So, interesting little side note that would be nice. It'd be great to have Hayden and Amanda take him across there too. I think that'd be awesome for them and their stable. Yeah,
it would. It's a little bit of a shame that we can't have New Zealand horses in there, but yeah, obviously with we allow our Aussies to come over and race, and the race by Betcher was this year, and we know how good of a race it was. So maybe one year in the future they might allow us to come over and try and take their prize money.
Try and promote the whole industry, not their own industry, would be a lot better. But anyway, we'll worry about that another day. Lukey, thank you. Good luck. Friday night, mate. Congratulations on your drive the other night, and really appreciate you joining me. There's some chance we might do it a little bit differently next week. I may go live because I've got an awards night on Monday night, so On Loose Lines won't go ahead. So I thought I may potentially do it live. We might get you on the phone, make it a bit easier for you if you're available. Be about 8 o'clock next Tuesday night, so we'll just see how we go. If not, we'll get some different people in. But we'll continue to promote it and get the message out there. Don't forget, for my sponsors as well, both Breckon Farms with the Gavel House online auction at the minute, those 7 mares, and also the weanling sales going up now. There's going to be a supplementary list going up as well, so make sure you cross that and support Aldebaran Eagle for Duncan McPherson. Thanks, Lukey. You're a good man, mate. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it for having me.